A senior correctional services official has taken the department to the Labour Court. Peter Davids accuses his employer of using the National Employment Equity Plan to discriminate against white and coloured South Africans despite their outstanding performance. He says white men in the department have no chance of being promoted over the next 5 years. Davids is one of 10 correctional services employees who claim they've been overlooked for positions because of the colour of their skin. Joining us now in studio is Chief Deputy Commissioner for Human Resources at Correctional Services, Teboho Mokoena, to give us the department's side of the story. Afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Now, the first question, let's talk about the employment structure within your department. How is it set up?
Okay. I think what is important is to outline that Section 20, subsection 1 of the Employment Equity Act enjoins us as the national department to put in place reasonable measures that would ensure that there is representativity in the workplace. Now, flowing from that, as the department, we have established a National Employment Equity Committee, which comprises of, amongst others, PSA, which is a recognized trade union, POP crew, as well as representation from the department. Their task is, in essence, to consult and agree upon national targets for the department. Now, these are then rolled out throughout all the 6 regions that the department operates in. Now, we are a national department, and once that has been consulted upon, those targets then inform the representativity as you go through the various recruitment processes. What is also important is that for each and every recruitment that we undertake as a department, the panel is given specific targets which would outline areas where there are gaps, so that even from a shortlisting point of view, they are able to then identify the manner in which they should be conducting shortlisting, such that you are then able to close the gaps as outlined in the employment equity plan of the department.
Now, this issue of overlooking whites and colours for promotion has been dragging on for quite a while. What impact has it had on correctional service staff morale?
Look, I think it's important to point out. For instance, let's take the case of the Western Cape, the current case which is ongoing. Within Western Cape itself, there are currently 5 coloured males, 2 coloured females within the senior service management structure of Western Cape. So the question that we are overlooking coloured and white members within the service is perhaps not correct, because if you have that type of representation at a very senior level within the region, then the question is, where is this marginalization coming from? But what is also important to point out is that on the 11th of February this year, the minister convened a ministerial consultative forum, which was essentially a forum to discuss employee-related matters that may impact negatively on the employment relationship between us and organized labor. Now, critical in that forum is that we identified a number of issues that were put on the table for discussion. Now, both PSA and POP crew, who form part of the National Employment Equity Committee for the department, did not raise this issue of how the department, A, has determined the targets, and B, how it is going about in order to achieve those targets. So I think it's quite telling that recognized trade unions within the department have not raised an issue. In fact, it is being raised by a union that does not enjoy representation within the department, nor recognition in terms of the General Public Service Sector Bargaining Council. So I think that context it's important to put in place.
Could you say that this problem is unique to the Western Cape?
It is not unique. I think the issue for us is you don't have to go to court to discuss such matters. There is a structure in place, as I said, the National Employment Equity Committee. Surely, employees are allowed to make representations, either as individuals or through their union representation, to essentially say, perhaps the way in which we have gone about in determining the national targets for the department perhaps needs to be reviewed. And in essence, that is the structure in place. Now, if you don't have a structure in place, perhaps you would have a justification to then go to court. But if you have a structure that promotes dialogue internally to say, let us talk about these things, in the event that perhaps in hindsight we may want to relook at how we have done certain things, then in fact there is a structure like that in place. And I've also referred to the ministerial task team, which has been meeting from the 11th of February to discuss employee-related matters. Now, these are the forums that should be utilized to promote that dialogue, to say perhaps if there is a need for us to review how we have gone about in determining the targets, and B is in terms of how we have sought to achieve those targets. But for us to go to court, we think that is divisive. It certainly will cause tensions because, as you would know, in any court proceedings, there would be people that would be on the side of the aggrieved employees, and there would be people that are on the side of the department. And that is the kind of tension that you do not want in the workplace.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us in studio today. That was Gauteng Correctional Services Commissioner Teboho Mokoena.
News that moves. eNCA.com.